A kitchen cabinet looks like one of the simplest things in a house. It is a box. It has a door, maybe a drawer. You open it, put plates inside, and forget it exists. Then somebody decides to remodel their kitchen and gets a cabinet quote for $15,000, $20,000, or even $30,000. At that point, cabinets stop looking like boxes. They start looking like a scam. Because how can a room full of wood rectangles cost more than a car? The answer is that you are not really buying wood rectangles. You are buying a system that has to fit one exact room, work around every appliance, survive years of slamming, hold hundreds of pounds, look perfect under bright kitchen lighting, and somehow arrive without being damaged. And that is before anyone even installs it. The strange part is that two kitchens can look nearly identical from across the room. Both can have white shaker doors, black handles, and a marble-looking countertop. But one might cost $7,000 and the other might cost $25,000. So where does all that money go? First, it helps to understand that the price is almost never for one cabinet. When someone says their cabinets cost $20,000, they usually mean the entire cabinet job. That can include dozens of cabinet boxes, doors, drawer fronts, shelves, trim pieces, hardware, panels that cover the sides of appliances, delivery, design work, and installation. A kitchen might have a cabinet above the fridge, a narrow cabinet beside the oven, a corner cabinet with a strange angle, a base cabinet for the sink, drawers of different widths, tall pantry cabinets, end panels, filler pieces, and a giant island that has cabinets on both sides. None of those pieces are random. Everyone has to fit the room like part of a puzzle. That is why kitchens are expensive in a way that living rooms are not. You can buy a sofa, put it in a room, and if it is 2 inches away from the wall, nobody cares. Cabinets do not get that luxury. If a cabinet is 2 inches too wide, your dishwasher might not fit. If it is too tall, your countertop will sit wrong. If the cabinet next to the oven is off by a little, the entire wall of cabinets can start drifting out of line. The kitchen is one of the few parts of a house where every object has to agree with every other object, and it starts with the box itself. Most people only notice the cabinet door because that is the part they see every day, but behind that door is a cabinet box, also called a cabinet carcass. It has sides, a bottom, a back, shelves, braces, mounting rails, and connections that hold it together. The material matters a lot. Some lower-cost cabinets use thinner engineered wood products in places that will never be noticed unless something goes wrong. Better cabinets might use thicker panels, plywood construction, stronger backs, sturdier shelves, or better joinery. That does not mean every expensive cabinet is automatically great, and it does not mean every inexpensive cabinet is terrible. But it does mean that a white cabinet door can hide a huge difference in what is behind it. A cabinet is expected to hold stacks of plates, cast iron pans, canned food, appliances, cleaning supplies, and whatever else gets shoved into the back during a busy week. The shelves cannot slowly bow, the drawers cannot start sagging, the boxes cannot pull away from the wall. That is why cabinet quality is not just about whether the door looks nice on day one. The hardware is another place where the price quietly adds up. A basic cabinet door can use a cheap hinge that opens and closes. It works, but it may feel loose, slam shut, go out of alignment, or become annoying after a few years. A higher quality hinge has to stay aligned through thousands of cycles. It has to hold the door level. It has to allow the installer to make tiny adjustments so the gaps between doors look even. If the cabinet has soft closed doors, that is another mechanism doing work every single time someone closes it. Drawers are even more demanding. A drawer might only hold forks when it is in a showroom. In a real kitchen, people fill it with plates, cookware, bags of flour, batteries, random manuals, and things they forgot they owned in 2016. When a drawer opens smoothly, closes quietly, and still feels solid years later, that is not an accident. The slides, the box construction, the mounting points, and the drawer front all have to work together. It is easy to underestimate this because a cabinet is one of those products that looks simple when it works properly. Nobody walks into a kitchen and says, "Wow, those drawer slides are carrying an incredible amount of responsibility," but they notice immediately when one breaks. Then there is the finish. Painted cabinets are not just wood with white paint sprayed on top. At least they should not be. A good cabinet finish has to look smooth under direct light, survive steam, resist stains, tolerate everyday cleaning, and not start peeling when someone opens the dishwasher after a hot cycle. Dark colors have their own problems. White cabinets have their own problems. Wood stain has to look even across pieces that may all have slightly different grain patterns. That means sanding, spraying, drying, inspecting, and sometimes redoing pieces that do not meet the standard. And if you have ever seen a kitchen under bright ceiling lights, you know there is nowhere to hide. A small scratch on a wall can disappear behind a picture frame. A small defect on a cabinet door sits directly at eye level every time you make coffee. This is part of why cabinets can feel weirdly expensive compared with other furniture. A dresser can be made in one standard size, shipped to thousands of stores, and sold to anyone who wants it. A kitchen cabinet has to fit one layout. It has to match the rest of the room. It has to line up with the next cabinet. Then it has to work with a countertop that may not even be measured until the cabinets are installed. That last part surprises a lot of people. In many kitchen remodels, the countertop cannot be finalized until the cabinets are already in place. The cabinets need to be level and secure first. Then, the countertop company measures the finish layout, makes the stone or surface to fit, cuts openings for the sink and cooktop, and comes back later to install it. So, if the cabinet installation is wrong, it can create problems for everything that comes after it. A small mistake can become an expensive chain reaction. That is why cabinet installation is not usually just a person showing up with a drill and hanging boxes on a wall. The installer has to measure the room, find the high point in the floor, figure out where the walls are uneven, locate studs, make cabinets level, keep the faces flush, create even gaps, and make sure the cabinets work with the appliances. And real houses are not perfectly square. The floor may slope, the walls may lean, the ceiling may dip. A corner that looks normal can be out of square enough to create a visible gap once two cabinets meet. That is why cabinets use things like filler strips, scribes, trim, toe kicks, and panels. They are not always there because somebody wanted extra pieces to charge for. A lot of the time, they are there because the house itself is refusing to cooperate. A cabinet factory can make a perfectly straight cabinet. It cannot make your wall straight. The installation is where the perfect factory object meets the real house, and that is where labor becomes one of the biggest costs. Before installation even starts, somebody has to measure the kitchen. If the kitchen is being remodeled, old cabinets may need to be removed. The space may need drywall repair. Plumbing might need to move. Electrical outlets might be in the wrong place. The flooring may create a height problem. Appliances may arrive late. The refrigerator may be wider than expected. A kitchen remodel is basically a room-sized group project where every trade has a chance to ruin the schedule. The cabinet company has to deal with the result. This is also why stock cabinets, semi-custom cabinets, and custom cabinets can have dramatically different prices. Stock cabinets are the closest thing to buying cabinet pieces off the shelf. They come in a limited number of styles, colors, and standard sizes. That makes them cheaper because the factory can produce a lot of the same thing. If your kitchen happens to work with those sizes, stock cabinets can be a good value. The problem is that real kitchens often do not fit neatly into standard dimensions. You may end up with unused gaps, more filler strips, fewer layout options, or compromises around storage. Semi-custom cabinets sit in the middle. They offer more sizes, more finishes, more door styles, more modifications, and more ways to make the kitchen fit the room. That flexibility is useful, but every extra option makes the system more complicated. Custom cabinets go even further. Instead of choosing from a limited list of standard boxes, you can build around the room itself. A cabinet can be made to fit one awkward wall, one strange corner, one oversized appliance, or one exact storage idea. You can change depths, widths, materials, finishes, and interior layouts. That sounds great because it is great. It is also labor. The more unique the kitchen becomes, the less the factory can rely on repetition. A custom cabinet shop is not just moving wood through a machine. It is interpreting a design, making decisions, building parts for one room, and being responsible for every part fitting together later. A fully custom kitchen is closer to millwork than furniture, And millwork is expensive because skilled labor is expensive. There is another reason cabinets cost more than people expect. They are incredibly annoying to ship. A cabinet is large, rigid, easy to scratch, and not especially light. Doors can get damaged. Corners can get crushed. A single cracked face frame can delay an entire kitchen because one piece is missing. That means cabinets need packaging, warehouses, trucks, careful delivery, and replacement systems for damaged parts. Even before the cabinet reaches your house, money has already been spent keeping it from getting destroyed. This is especially noticeable with lower-priced, ready-to-assemble cabinets. They can save money because they ship flat and are assembled later. That can be a great option for the right person, but the savings do not make the entire kitchen process disappear. Someone still has to assemble every box. Check that the parts are correct, keep them square, install them properly, and fix problems if a piece arrives damaged. The cabinet may have been cheaper, the kitchen still has to be built. Then there are the details people do not think about until they want them. A pull-out trash system sounds simple until you realize it needs a sturdy drawer system, a cabinet sized for the mechanism, enough clearance for the door, and hardware that can handle the weight. A Lazy Susan, spice pullout, appliance garage, deep drawer for pots, hidden charging drawer, pantry rollout, built-in microwave shelf, wine storage insert, or cabinet designed around a trash can all add material, hardware, engineering, and labor. The plainest kitchen is usually the cheapest kitchen because it has the fewest decisions. Once you start asking the cabinets to solve problems, they get more expensive. And to be fair, they are solving real problems. The kitchen is where people want to store heavy things in the smallest possible space while making the room look clean and effortless. They want the trash hidden, the blender accessible but invisible, the pans organized, the spices reachable, the outlets concealed, the fridge surrounded by matching panels, and every door to line up perfectly. The cabinet system has to make all of that happen without looking like a system. That is why the price feels so disconnected from what you see. You see a white shaker door. The price includes a layout, a box, a finish, hinges, slides, shelf supports, delivery, installation, trim, adjustments, and the person who has to make it look like it was always part of the house. Still, expensive does not automatically mean worth it. There are plenty of places in a kitchen project where people can overpay. A fancy brand name does not guarantee stronger construction. A showroom can make average cabinets feel luxurious. A dramatic quote can include large markups, unnecessary upgrades, or features that look good in a brochure but do not matter in daily life. The smarter question is not, are these cabinets expensive? They are probably expensive. The better question is, what exactly am I getting for the price? Are the cabinet boxes sturdy? What are the shelves made from? How thick are they? Are the drawers solid? What type of slides are being used? Is the finish durable? How are the cabinets attached to the wall? What happens if a door gets damaged? Is installation included? Are the panels, trim, fillers, handles, and delivery already included in the quote? Because cabinet quotes can look similar while including completely different things. One quote may include basic boxes with simple hardware and no installation. Another may include better drawers, finished end panels, delivery, installation, warranty coverage, and a lot of custom fitting. The higher number can look ridiculous until you realize the lower number was never the full price. That is why cabinet shopping is confusing. You are trying to compare products that all look like cabinets but are really built at different quality levels and sold as different kinds of projects. At the bottom end, you are buying a functional storage system. At the top end, you are buying fitted furniture made for a specific room. Most people end up somewhere between those two. So, are kitchen cabinets overpriced? Sometimes yes, but they are not expensive because wood is rare or because cabinet doors are secretly made of gold. They are expensive because kitchens are precision spaces. They are expensive because rooms are imperfect. They are expensive because cabinets have to survive real life, and they are expensive because the product you see is only the last visible layer of a much bigger process. A kitchen cabinet is not just a box with a door. It is a box that has to fit a house, support a countertop, surround expensive appliances, hide clutter, survive years of abuse, and still look clean enough for someone to post it online. That is a lot to ask from a rectangle.